Assalamu alaikum. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. This is virtual class of Pakistan International School Taif. This English class is for the students of grade 8. We are going to do lesson 8 today. This is our 18th video in this class. Dear students, in our today's lesson, we shall learn to write the story, the full stack, and a paragraph, My Mother. We shall do second exercise of novel book, Kidnapped. We shall do a few exercises from our grammar book, and we shall read the passage given in lesson 8. Dear students, this is the story. You are very familiar with the stories. You have learned several stories in your previous classes. I shall give you the sample of this story. The title of this story is The Full Stack. Let us see what is written here. Dear students, it is mentioned, a stag was proud of his swift speed, fast speed. He was very much able to run very fast. Sharp and pointed horns. The stag had beautiful horns. Yes, and well-built body. What do we understand from here? The stag was proud of having swift speed, beautiful horns, and well-built body, good body. One day, while drinking water, he saw his reflection in the clear water of the stream. He was pleased to see his beautiful horns that were like a crown on his head. When his eyes wandered to his thin legs, he felt sad for having such ugly legs. He started thinking to get rid of these legs. He did not like his legs, in fact. He was lost in these thoughts when he heard the bark of hounds. Hounds are the dogs which look for the stag. He ran for his life as fast as he could. His thin legs soon carried him out of the reach of the hounds. Yes, students, the stag ran very fastly with the help of his legs, the same legs which he did not like first. Let us move forward. Unfortunately, when he was crossing a dense part of the forest, his long pointed horns caught in a thorny bush. He tried his best to take out his horns, but in vain. Now he started cursing his beautiful horns. Now he did not like his horns, but he liked them too much before. He was struggling madly to get free when the hounds overtook him. They tore him to pieces. Thus his thin ugly legs, which he despised, did not like, took him away from the danger. But his favorite horns proved the cause of his death. Yes, students, what do we learn from this story? We learn all that glitters is not gold. Everything that is shining, that is looking beautiful, it is not necessary that the thing is valuable. Yes. The second moral is pride hath a fall. Yes, students, this was the sample of the story that I have presented here. You can change, you can add whatever you want, and you can leave what you don't like in this story. Let us move forward. Dear students, we shall write a paragraph. My mother, you started writing from your junior classes. You will write a paragraph here. about your mother, there should be a few sentences. I shall read this paragraph for you. Let us see. My mother is an affectionate and pious lady. She loves me very much. I love her too. She takes care all of us. All of us means all at home, my brothers, my sisters, my father. She gets up early in the morning, makes our breakfast, lunch and dinner with her own hands. She looks after the cleanliness of the house and furniture, and also our clothes and health. When I fall sick, my mother passes sleepless nights by the side of my sick bed. Her anxiety and her fear disappear after my recovery from illness. In my eyes, she is really an ideal mother. My mother has taught me the importance of discipline, good manners, honesty, sense of duty, and reverence towards the elders in life. Reverence means respect of elders. She also taught me to defend and help the poor and the weak. In every matter of my life, I depend on my mother's help and guidance. Dear students, I have mentioned some of the things. I have written a few sentences here. You can change them. You can write much more about your mother because the title is My Mother. I think this one which I have presented here is the simple one. Language is simple, vocabulary is simple. You are very much familiar with all of these words. If you do not understand anything from this, you can leave it. You can get help from your dictionary. Otherwise, most of the words are simple, easy to understand. Let us move forward. Dear students, in our previous lesson we read lesson 2 and now we are going to do exercise 2. In this exercise we are set to choose the right answer. The title of this chapter is I Go to Queen's Ferry. David agreed to go to see Mr. Rankler because what is the correct option? Correct option is B. The liar was a friend of his father's. We can write this B here in this box also. Let us move forward. This is part number 2. Part number 2. After talking to Ransom, David thought that what is the correct option? Correct option is C. That life on the Covenant must be not much better than in Hill. We can write this C option in the box also. David was happy when he heard the Ebenezer was his father's younger brother because what is the correct option? B. He was now hired to the house of Shaw's, means he will get his father's part, his part from the property. We can write this B part in the box also. Dear students, if you have not read chapter 2, you may not understand it properly. It is important to read chapter 2 first to understand this exercise. Dear students, after doing exercise 2, we shall move to chapter 3 of our novel book. Dear students, I shall read one page for you and remaining part of this chapter will be for you to read in your homework. In our next lesson, we shall do exercise 3. More than a week passed in which the weather was very stormy and the ship made little progress. We were still quite close to the north coast of Scotland. On the 9th day, the wind was so strong that we were driven south not far from Cape Wrath, a very dangerous stretch of coast where there were a great many rocks. The ship's officers held a meeting. They made a decision which I did not completely understand. I soon realized, however, that they must have agreed to sail south in the direction of the wind. Dear students, this was first part of the page. Second part of the page is here. On the 10th day there was a thick wet fog which hid one end of the ship from the other. In the afternoon I went outside on the deck. Some of the sailors were leaning over the side of the ship. They were listening for breakers. Although I did not know exactly why they seemed to be so frightened, I knew that there was danger ahead and I was excited. And I was very excited. Yes, students. Next is at about 10 o'clock in the evening, just as I was serving dinner to Captain Hoseason and Mr. Riash, there was a very loud noise and the ship swayed violently for a moment. Then two men jumped up from their chairs. "We have hit the rock," cried the Riash. "No, Mr. Riash," said the captain. "I think we have run into another ship." They hurried on the deck. The captain was right. The Covenant had hit another ship in the fog. It had split down the center and sunk straight to the bottom of the sea. All the crew had gone down with it, except one man. Dear students, this was part 3 and we have read one page of the novel. Dear students, you will complete the reading of chapter 3 in your homework. Yes, students, now we shall do a few exercises of grammar. We have done first 15 in our previous lessons. This is exercise number 16. The future simple tense. Future simple tense is used to indicate an indefinite action in future. The future continuous is used to describe an action in progress. And usually the following adverbs are used in future: soon, tomorrow, shortly, tonight, next month, etc. The future simple tense can also be expressed by going to. Dear students, in future simple tense we use will, shall, but we can use going to also. Here are examples. I shall complete it tomorrow. I am going to complete it tomorrow. Both have nearly equal the same meaning. There is slightly a little difference between these two. You can see here is written shall, here is written am going to. Let us move forward. Dear students, to understand when to use will, when to use shall, when to use going to, I have noted here 3 points. If you take care of these, you can use will, shall, going to correctly. Use shall for asking suggestions and with first person. With I, we, usually we use shall. Use will for future tense and to offer help or agree, disagree with something. Use will when you plan to do something which is not decided concretely. Use going to when a plan has been decided in future. Yes, students, let us move to the exercise. In this exercise, we are set to complete the sentences with the appropriate future tense, simple or continuous. Number 1 will become I shall finish. Number 2 will become I am going to do my exercise when you visit me at 1:45. Part number 3 will become Ahmed and I are going. Dear students, we cannot write here am going because Ahmed and I are two people and it is plural. With plural we write are. Number 4 becomes will you do me this favor. Number 5 will become she is going to cook the food. Dear students, let us move to part number 6. It will become a good teacher will never refuse to teach. Number 7 will become Parveen will be happy if you give her this gift. Number 8 will become they will die if the roof falls on them. Number 9 will become he is going to call before 6 tonight. Number 10 will become I shall go to Karachi. Dear students, this was exercise number 16. This one is exercise 17. Let us read the instructions given to do this exercise. Change the following sentences as shown in the example. Let us read the example. I shall complete it soon. I am going to complete it soon. Very simple it is. You can see shall is changed into am going to. We shall do the same thing. Let us do part number 1. I shall call on you tonight. I am going to call on you tonight. Shall is changed into am going to. Let us move to part number 2. It will become they are going to vote. Part number 3 will become they are not going to mind the change. Part number 4 will become Amina is going to be pleased with him. Number 5 will become he is going to present her a book. Let us move to part number 6. It will become it is going to make no difference. Number 7 will become I am going to let you know about it soon. Number 8 will become I am going to Karachi tomorrow. Number 9 will become they are going to meet her on the platform. Number 10 will become the book is going to change very soon. Dear students, I think you have developed understanding of this exercise. What are we doing here? In fact, we are changing will or shall into is going to. Into is going to. After doing this exercise, let us move to the next one. That is exercise 18. Let us read the instructions. Future meaning can be expressed with present continuous tense. He plans to go to Karachi next week. Dear students, if we don't write here next week, this whole is present simple. That is why it is said present simple is also used to mean future tense. He is going to Karachi next week. Yes, students. What does it mean? Future meaning can be expressed with present continuous tense. Okay, this present continuous tense, he is going to Karachi. What is this? He is going to Karachi is present continuous. And this is used to give future meaning. He plans to go to Karachi next week. This whole is giving future meaning, and we have expressed the same meaning by using present simple. This sentence implies that the program of the visit to Karachi next week is already finalized. Let us move to the exercise. Do you want to go there tomorrow? Do you want to go there tomorrow? Are you going there tomorrow? Dear students, we have used here present continuous tense. With the help of tomorrow, we have expressed the future meaning. Number 2 will become, are you going to call on her soon? Number 3 will become, they are going to meet me soon. Number 4 will become, they are going to visit Quetta in autumn. Number 5 will become, this film is going to be shown at the Odeon. Odeon is the name of the cinema. Let us move to part number 6. It will become, I am going to learn French soon. Number 7 will become, the boys are going home tomorrow. Number 8 will become, she is going to visit her parents next week. Let us move to number 9. It will become, I am going to join the Kagan trip. Number 10 will become, Razia is going to buy a new suit for the festival. Dear students, what have we done in this exercise? In this exercise, we have used present continuous to express future meaning. Dear students, this was exercise 18. We have completed it. I think you know now how to do this exercise. Dear students, now we shall start reading of our lesson 8. The name of the lesson is Indus Valley Civilization. Indus Valley Civilization. Let us start reading it. The earliest people of India about whom we know anything lived 4,000 to 5,000 years ago in the fertile valley of the river Indus. This is now in the country we call Pakistan. They learned to live a civilized life in their river valley, as did the ancient Egyptians in the valley of the Nile and the Sumerians in the valley of the Euphrates and Tigris. Let us move to the next part. These people lived in cities in the Indus Valley for about 1,000 years. Then we hear no more of them. We do not know why the cities were abandoned, but once they had been, the dust of the desert and the mud of the river gradually moved over the ruins and buried them, until nothing was to be seen at all. For centuries no one knew they had ever existed. Then about 1920, when engineers were digging in the Indus Valley, they came on traces of buried cities. So archaeologists set to work, and bit by bit they cleared away the sand and silt and uncovered again all that remained of the ancient cities. The people and their possessions, things which are buried in the sand, are often preserved, and archaeologists, by studying carefully all that they found, have been able to learn much about the ancient people of the Indus. Let us move to the next part of our lesson, that is part number 3. One of the cities of Indus Valley is called Mohenjo-daro, which means mound of the dead. It was built of bricks. A high brick wall surrounded it to protect the people both from enemies and from river floods. Inside these were wide straight streets and brick houses, many of 2 stories and more. The houses were often built in a rectangle with a little garden in the middle. Even those of the poorer people had proper drains built in the thickness of the walls and a supply of running water. And the bigger houses had staircases, lavatories, and bathrooms. There were many public baths for those who did not have private ones, one of which was as big as a large open-air swimming pool. There were temples and a shopping center and granaries for storing safely the wheat and barley from the countryside. Dear students, this is part number 4. In Mohenjo-daro have been found a great many little square pieces of carved ivory or pottery, which were seals. Each person had his own seal, as important people in England used to have their own crests. There is a kind of writing on the seals which no one has yet found out how to read. Some day it will be discovered, and then we shall learn much more about these interesting people. Let us move to part number 5. In the countryside, the peasants grew grain crops and kept domestic animals. They had dogs, poultry, goats, sheep, and cattle, and they were among the first people in the world to make carts with wheels. With these carts, they could bring their crops into the city, pulled by the big humped bullocks, which are still important beasts of burden in the subcontinent. They made tools with bronze and copper, metal, fish hooks, sickles and knives. These are the tools used to do different types of jobs. Dear students, this is part number 6. In these ancient times, there were great forests in the Indus Valley. The people cut down the trees for building and also for stocking the kilns in which they baked their bricks. They cut down more and more trees without planting new ones until after many hundreds of years the forests had gone. Trees are needed both to hold the soil from being blown away and also to bring the cloud and rain. So the climate changed and the Indus Valley grew less fertile and the people became poorer. Then about 3500 years ago, some disaster came to the people of Mohenjo-daro, either by flood or by attack of any enemy army. We do not know which. Their city was destroyed, all men, women and children were killed. Dear students, this is the end of the chapter. There were other cities in the Indus Valley, especially another great city called Harappa, on one of the branches of river Indus, but none of them survived. All were buried in the sand. Dear students, let us move to the exercises. This is comprehension and vocabulary. First exercise in your book exactly looks like this. In the instructions it is written, find in list B a word or phrase of similar meaning. We have to look words from list B having similar meaning to the words given in list A. Let us do this exercise. For example, preserved, kept safe. Crest, a kind of seal. Fertile, producing abundant crops. Slew means killed. Ancient means of long ago. Peasants means worker on land, like farmers. Tools means device or implement. Enemies means adversary. Terrible, causing terror, disaster, misfortune. Buried, covered up, destroyed, make useless. Dear students, this was exercise A, in which we wrote words from list B having similar meaning to those given in list A. Let us move to the next exercise. Dear students, this is to answer the questions. Yes, students, the first question is, when did the earlier people live in the Indus Valley? Dear students, the answer is, the earliest people lived in the Indus Valley about 4000 to 5000 years ago. How did the archaeologists learn about the ancient people? Dear students, archaeologists study the remains of the city that they dug up. They carefully examined the preserved objects and skeletons they found there. Question number 3 is, what is the most surprising thing about the city of Mohenjo-daro? Dear students, it is surprising that people had planned their city with straight streets and that the houses had bathrooms and drains. Dear students, question number 4 is, why are the seals particularly important to archaeologists? The seals are particularly important to archaeologists because there are different writings on these. When these writings are read sometimes in future, these will tell us about more facts of the lives of the Indus Valley people. What is a crest? A crest is a traditional family symbol with images and words that represent the family's place in society. Question number 6 is, what was the first cause of the loss of fertility in the Indus Valley? Dear students, the first cause of loss of fertility in the Indus Valley was cutting off the trees from the forest of the area for buildings and burning without planting new trees. Yes, students, they did not plant new trees but cut the old ones to burn to make their houses. Dear students, we have answered the questions given in this exercise. Yes, students, this is your today's homework. You will learn and write the story, The Foolish Stag, and paragraph My Mother. You will do second exercise of novel and read chapter 3, because in our coming lesson, next lesson, we shall do exercise 3. Do exercises 16 to 18 of Brighter Grammar. Read the passage of lesson 8 and do exercises that we did in our lesson. Dear students, that is all from our today's lesson. See you later in our next lesson. Goodbye.